Now, you're not disputing that you owe the rent, right?
I was advised that because it wasn't, I was trying to get a lawyer and I just couldn't make the calls. I kind of freeze up.
Okay, well, why don't you just talk to me and tell me what you're,
Um, so, because it was, I believed I had a year and I felt like a safe, anyway, it was, unlawfully presented to try to get me to move out unjustly and not accept the money, but then tell me he's evicting me for not paying.
I see what you're saying. All right. But you're not disputing that you were there during the period.
Correct.
And if you had paid or he had accepted, whichever, however you want to put that, that you would have paid him the $4,500, right?
Yes, oh yes. I was
Okay.
working. I have always paid my bills.
Okay.
I know
All right.
previously.
I got you. But that's fine. The so it doesn't sound to me as though there's a dispute that you may owe the 4,500. Okay. Even though if you tried to tender it, he wouldn't take it, but you're going to owe the money, that money, right? So sometimes when we're in these trials, it gets down to the point of somebody doesn't pay or doesn't want to pay, right? And it may be because they're in a position where they can't pay it, right?
I was able to pay until I was told I had to leave. I didn't know where to go. I became very
Okay. All right.
suicidal. I didn't know. I didn't want to be homeless.
I got you.
And
I got you.
really knocked me down, but I'm getting back up and I have a place now.
You got to play. Okay, good. So the question then isn't so much then whether you owe it. It becomes almost a question of how I'm going to pay this and still be able to keep up with everything else I got, right?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
I feel with the, which I wasn't able to get the pictures printed, but with the continued harassment with the letters and I have, evidence how my side where I park is, not maintained, with the snow and ice. However, the tenant on the other side, which vehicle, his area is plowed. I even have pictures of the plow. They're all time stamped. So it shows different parts of the day. My side is still
Okay.
untended
Okay.
to, and the steps.
So ma'am, let me ask you, let me ask it this
Our
way.
washer and dryer was taken out of.
Ma'am, let me ask it this way. Of that 4,500, don't need to know your reason for it. How much do you think you owe?
I would say definitely not October, November, because he would not accept that. Um, so at most, that would be 36. Wait, no, 27. And the initial fees, or the filing fee for the, he was also offered the additional file fee, the notice to quit, which he refused. So
Ma'am,
yes,
here's what I'm asking you.
yes,
You're complaining or saying to me that certain things weren't done there. Okay. So what I'm asking you is what amount of that 4,500 do you believe you owe?
not really. I wouldn't be in this predicament if
Okay, but
it was a normal landlord tenant situation. But
okay,
mean,
hold on,
December,
hold on.
January, and February come out to
Ma'am, it doesn't work that way. Okay. You were in the unit. I asked you initially, would you have paid the rent? You told me yes. Right? It seems to me that you're thinking that you don't owe it because you're in because it caused you some difficulty. And that's not the way that it works. There's a contract for the 900.
Right, but he wrote the contract, but not accepted. I mean, but he was trying to kick me
So,
out and break the lease.
ma'am, so when he wouldn't accept it, what'd you do with the 900?
I used it for other bills throughout the next month or two because I just shut down. I wasn't able, it's like the free state of CPTSD, which I'm not
Okay,
used to. I just like, I wasn't able to get out of bed. I slept for days. I didn't know where I was gonna go. I thought I had a safe place to stay until at least April, May, you know, for a year. And, I mean, I wasn't expecting to have to find somewhere that quick. I looked, I didn't know where I was gonna go. I was gonna try to put that money down. I didn't find a place until recently. That was the place that's affordable. And
okay, let me just cut to the chase. You're gonna owe the $4,500.
okay, even because the December, January, and February is the 27th. Because
But you live there.
right,
You're gonna owe that money.
all of it.
The
You really thought
45,
it was a money
just,
you wouldn't
ma'am,
accept?
ma'am, you gotta let me talk. I let you talk, but you gotta let me talk. You're gonna owe the 4,500. Okay? The the 150 is for cleaning.
No, it's for furniture removal. I got pictures of the furniture she left in the house, for the apartment, but he had to pay to half all the way.
Have you shown her the picture?
I sure will. Yeah.
These were items that were left there when I.
Hold on. I haven't seen them. So she has to show them to you first, and then I'll take a look at them.
This is the furniture. The rest of it is the filth that was left behind.
Do you see the pictures, ma'am?
Yes, I saw them as she laid them down.
So
These
do
were-
you, hang on, I'm gonna ask you a question. Do you have any problem if I look at the pictures? Do you have any problem if I look at the pictures they presented?
Problem? No,
I said,
like,
hold it, please.
okay.
Okay, now what did you want to say regarding this?
A lot of this furniture was already left there when there was furniture there when I moved in.
Okay, so let's back up a second. When you moved in, was the bed that was there?
The bed and the dresser were not,
Were not.
correct.
Okay,
The
but
big table,
what about the chair? And
chair
the
was
ottoman.
there, ottoman, big table, a couple things that I did was everything down myself, but that was left behind. There was another chair, had a big
Oh, ma'am, stop,
dining
please.
room table.
Please stop.
Okay.
They've shown me 4 pictures. You're telling me that some of the stuff was there. And what I'm asking you is, was the dresser there when you moved in? No? Okay. Was the mattress there when you moved in? Was the chair and ottoman there when you moved in? Okay, so that was there when you moved in. And then I don't know what this is.
Vacuum.
Vacuum cleaner, a bunch of cardboard boxes.
Was all that there when you moved in, or
The vacuum was
the vacuum was? And the other's just cardboard.
cardboard. That's what I was using to move the furniture. I
Okay,
forgot to-
all right, I don't need to know. Is this Mr. Allen here to testify about this?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, well, that's gonna be a problem because that's gonna be hearsay. this bill is hearsay, this removal of items is gonna be hearsay. The $500 is what for? Is that for cleaning?
And would you like to see those pictures?
Well, is there a specific provision in the lease that for cleaning?
Left in a clean condition. I'll find it 1 second. I apologize.
Ask you this. I'm presuming the people that would testify to the cost aren't here either.
No.
Okay. Well, then this court's not going to warrant either of those. I mean, there's so then the security deposit, he kept that, I'm presuming.
Did you get a security deposit from them? It was the last month's rent, so there's no extra security deposit. So yeah, I assume since she's gonna,
Well, I don't know that you want to make that argument because that would be illegal.
$4,500 is fine, for the time that
Well, except that she has, I get the 4,500 and I've told her that, but there's $1,800 of a security deposit, and there's going to be a problem with that security deposit if that's a security deposit. But that's what the lease tells
if the apartment was not returned, the condition it was leased in, he's gonna have to spend a portion of that security deposit to get it.
me. He's entitled to the security deposit for the rent under the Security Deposit Act. So, but that would mean she's already paid of the 45, she's already given 1,800 of it.
She The day they moved in. Okay, he agrees with that, that he got the 1,800 when she moved in.
Okay. And so now we got another problem because that's listed. Make sure I'm reading this right.
Your Honor, for future reference, I will be redrafting Mr. Docket's leases for him. This was kind of a mess.
Yeah. But he gave her $1,800 for a security deposit as I read this. And that security deposit then is an illegal security deposit. Because you can only have 1.5 months. So there's $450 of that security deposit, which he should have never taken.
I'm sorry, what you said?
He should have never taken it. The
Okay.
450 of, he basically charged 2 months rent. The limit on the security deposit is going to be 1.5. So he has held improperly $450 of her money.
I think that covered the first month's rent. The 18 he took from her was,
I've got it all under the security deposit provision. It says $900, but then it says a total of $1,800.
did you take did she pay 900 for the first month's rent and then 900 for security deposit to make 1,800? Yeah, the 900 was the first month's rent.
Listen to what you guys just told me.
I know, but he took in a total that day of 1,800, 900, he applied that 900 towards the the first rent. If not, she didn't pay any. She just got a security deposit, didn't pay a rent. 900
She what?
of the 1,800 she gave him April 1st. She didn't give him rent plus 18. So 9 of that is actually for the first month's rent. And the other 9 was security deposit. So you took 1 month's rent security deposit.
Where are his receipts for that? Because I have under paragraph under B, security deposit. It says total 1,800, and this is his lease. So any ambiguity in that's going to be construed as against him, unless somebody shows me a receipt that she only paid 900.
It still, yes, what he's trying to explain is it says $900 is for the first month's rent.
Where?
Can I approach?
Well, just give me the paragraph.
Paragraph A.
It says
No,
900.
paragraph B, I'm sorry. Tenant must pay landlord $900, which landlord holds as a security deposit. He wrote the total receipt of 18 because he also got $900.
But it doesn't.
I know, he's not really left his own devices anymore. I'm gonna draft it.
Well, the problem is though, that's it. That's ambiguous to me when I look at that under security deposit. I get what you may be saying, but I don't know what he held it as, and that's why I'm going to ask for a receipt. Because theoretically, again, the security deposit, he should be able to show me where that was, because there's another provision in here which is troubling to the court about it being commingled. Because the security deposit is the tenant's money
Yes.
that he is to hold in a separate account.
This will be the last time we use this lease, I promise you.
Well, that's fine. I mean, but he's used it. So my question then becomes for me is what do I do with it? I have under the security provision, the security deposit, $1,800 total. Doesn't list the financial institution like it's supposed to. It also talks about it being commingled. So I don't know what he took what for. All I know is that under security deposit, it says 18.
You took a total of 1,800, 900 was, it says must pay landlord 900, which you'll hold a security deposit. So the other 900 hadn't been her first month's rent. And if you notice, it says starting May 1st, they took possession April 1st. So that 900 was the first month's rent, and the other 900 was a security deposit. That's why he's not going after it for April, even though they said that they're not making the first payment until they're living there in April. But
I understand what you're saying. I'm looking at the contract, and unless he's going to show me receipts, I have to go by what's in the contract. Contract says it's a total of 1,800 under security deposit.
I see that. Saying they paid the 900, and then they came back and paid the other 900. So one was
Where's his ledger of her account?
Did you bring a ledger of the account? Did you bring a ledger with you? Ledger. A ledger of her payments, her account. Yeah, this is it. This ledger as it, such as it is.
What's the security deposit on this ledger?
He applied the first 900 too. That's why it says April rent was paid. First
Yeah, but
900.
that doesn't tell me anything when I look at that in relation to the contract.
I understand. Like I said, in the future, I will help Mr. Docket down this dilemma. No, who drafted that.
But if All right.
It looks
So-
like a computer lease just came off of Google.
Pardon?
It looks like a lease that came off of Google.
I don't know where it came from. It's a horrible lease, but it's his lease that he gave her. So any ambiguities in it, any whatever in it are going to be construed as against him. So, I'm not awarding the 150 and the $500. Is there anything else anybody wants to say before my decision in the case? Because I'm going to tell you here's what I think the parties should settle on. All right. And if you don't want to settle, then I'll give you my decision. But of the 45, he has 1,800 in a security deposit. There are very tenuous issues with what he has withheld or where he was holding this, and it's the tenant's money. So if I take that off of that, then what she would owe is $2,700 instead of 45. What I'm going to suggest to the parties is that they resolve this in amount of 2,500, because I'd have to go back and here's the reason I'm going to do that. It may mean nothing to you ultimately, ma'am, but it also may mean something. I have to go take a look at what to do with it, because if it's an $1,800 security deposit, she may be entitled for damages for that additional $450. And typically under the Security Deposit Act, we're going to be talking sort of double damages, but part of that has already come off. So my suggestion to the parties, and I'll go take a look before I would order this, but my suggestion to the parties would be that there be a money judgment instead of the 45 less the security of 27, that it would be 2,250 would be the money judgment amount.
Can I have 1 second with my client?
Absolutely.
My client will agree to 2,250.
All right.
That's fair.
Pardon?
I agree with that's fair, Your Honor.
All right. So I win a money judgment favor of the plaintiff against the defendant in the amount of $2,250. Now the question then becomes, and I don't have to get into it as to how it's going to be paid, but how are you intending on paying that?
It will have to be in increments over time.
Okay, that's what so I'll do it this way. What were you thinking of paying?
At the moment, I'm still trying to catch up.
Okay, but tell me what you're
I
thinking
don't
in
have
terms
a
of
lot
monthly
time at the
payment.
moment. I mean, I could do 100 a month at this point is really all I can do until I can really get back. To you.
Well, here's what I'll do.
That's gonna take 2 years, because she do 100 until she does get back on her, give her.
Well, I'm not
4
gonna
months.
do that. If you guys, I'm gonna enter the judgment for the 2,250. You'll have to file a petition for payment plans on that judgment.
Okay.
All right, and then I can take a look at everything and then make a determination as to what she pays. All right, so if you'll prepare a judgment to that effect, I will sign off on that.
Thank you.
Thank you. And just so that we're clear, it's going to be 2,250 plus your cost of, I think you said 130.
Yeah.
So it'd be 2,380.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's bad. Yeah. Court does call the case of Michael Scott Stone versus Kevin Smith.
Jim Kirby on behalf of the plaintiff, P. 83218.
You can have a seat. What's your name?
Kevin J. Smith, sir.
All right. All right. And where are we on this case? What is plaintiff's claim?
Your Honor, my client filed a complaint for non-payment. We made motion to dismiss that claim. In the last hearing, and then dismissed the answer, or didn't want to dismiss it to hear the answer, the response to that answer. And if I may, I might have discovered something.
Where's your client?
I believe he's on.
And that was not, you can let him in.
Yes.
Right, it called the case of Stone versus Smith. I just want to let you know, and the court may sanction because his Zoom appearance was not approved by the court.
Sorry, Your Honor.
It was submitted, not approved. So I'll figure that out momentarily. So where are we on this case?
Your Honor, we would like to dismiss our complaint for non-payment. I believe there was an answer, and I filed a response to that answer. And I've recently discovered an argument that might just resolve the rental license issue.
Go ahead.
There was an initial phasing period of ordinance 844, a 2-year initial phasing period under the definitions. So this property would have lapsed or would have failed that requirement as of November 2024, because the ordinance was passed in November 2022. No rent has been paid since June of 2024. So between the period in which the lapse occurred in November, or he would have been in violation in November to now, there's been no rent paid. So,
Sir, you would agree with that there's been no rent paid during that period? Yes.
From November until now, is that what you're saying, sir?
So what are you looking for? Because they want to dismiss their complaint. What are you looking for?
What I am seeking at this point is just, if possible, potentially some of my money back that he was not supposed to get because of a city ordinance that I found.
Yes,
And
but
also,
the thing is, once the subject property would have lapsed, that's what counsel's indicating, where he would not have been entitled to collect rent. You didn't pay any rent during that period.
correct.
So there's nothing to return.
Prior to that, the money that I sent to Mr. Stone prior to that time period, prior to November.
Yes, but he didn't become subject to the ordinance till after November. His property didn't become subject to the ordinance where it would have lapsed till after November, and you hadn't paid anything.
From what I discerned when I went to the city planner's office in the city of Saline, I was told that they had sent Mr. Stone numerous letters before the one he sent me.
And that would make sense from November forward.
But that was back in 2023 that they sent him these letters, sir.
But because of the way the ordinance is drafted, his properly, yes, he would have had to have done something. But the fact that he didn't, he doesn't become subject to the ordinance until sometime in November, according to council. Of 24.
Okay, so I'm trying to gain understanding, Your Honor.
Okay.
Can you explain it to me in a way, like the dumbest way possible, please?
Well, I don't think I have to do that with you, but I'll just say this. The ordinance is entered into, right?
Okay.
But for his property doesn't really become subject to that ordinance until a certain period of time. I think he said 2 years or something. So he doesn't become subject to that. That would have been November that his property would have been subject to that. All right.
Okay.
So if you had paid rent in, say, November, December, and then didn't, you may have a claim to get money back. Right?
Mhm.
But you didn't pay anything. So there's nothing to return.
Okay. So, okay,
You follow?
Understood.
You follow me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's the best way I can explain it. All right.
Yes, sir.
So you didn't want me to dismiss their claim because you had that claim, right?
Yes, sir.
That claim, there isn't anything there.
Understood.
So I denied their motion to dismiss. I think it's being renewed to dismiss the complaint in this case. Do you have any objection to dismissal of this matter?
Not in that sense, but I do want to, when it comes to their request to dismiss, no, I do not have any objection to that.
Okay.
But I do want to bring up the fact that I did hear in the previous case that the gentleman that was the plaintiff, right? I can't get the terminology correct. He should have had a separate account set up for accepting payments.
No, for the security deposit.
Okay, now for when it comes to accepting payments for rent, I'm just
What do you mean?
asking questions.
Okay, I can answer some questions, but some questions,
When it comes to paying rent and accepting payments of rent,
okay.
I did a little digging on my own and I found that Mr. Stone should have had a separate account set up for accepting rent payments. Is that correct?
I don't know why you would have to.
That's why I'm asking, because that's what
I don't know what digging you went into. I mean, I hesitate answering certain questions in the hypothetical without something in front of me. But I don't know of any requirement that requires him to have an account for it. If you show me something, then fine, but I don't.
I don't have it with me, Your Honor. That bit of research that I did on my own.
Okay. So I don't know what you want me to do with that. That's the best answer I can give you. I mean, okay.
Um,
So Yes.
I apologize. Now that this is done, Mr. Stone can hear me, correct?
Yes, it depends on what you want to say, and what are you getting at?
Please leave me alone.
Okay, I don't need to hear that. If there is something else that's going on, he'll have to deal with it some other way, but I'm not going to deal with that in the context of this case, because I don't know what that means, and I'm not going to deal with that.
Yes, sir.
So this case, so in a moment, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dismiss the primary claim as well as any counterclaim in this case, and I'm just gonna dismiss this case. Mr. Stone, I had indicated to you when I set the trial date, because I set it out some time, that it was an in-person proceeding. My trials are in person. You seemingly want to create your own rules for how this court's going to operate. You submitted a Zoom request. That Zoom request was not approved. And so you should have been here today.
Okay. I did not understand. I thought since I have legal representation there.
Um,
Yeah, for me, Your Honor,
Go ahead.
Mr. Stone is not an experienced landlord and.
Oh, I got that from the previous hearings
Okay.
because he was telling me how I was going to do my job.
Oh, I apologize.
And that wasn't going to happen there.
Being a local agent in local council, he was in Florida, where he moved, after living in Michigan for 20 years, so. That, if there's a misunderstanding that my car should be my fault, I'd like to take responsibility.
Your Honor, since I have been getting rent since June of last year, I've been paying 2 mortgages and 2 utility bills. I'm living off credit cards. I don't even have the funds to travel to Michigan. I'm sorry, but I did not know that I needed to be there. I'm having to pay this lawyer on a credit card. So
All right. This case. The primary and the counterclaim is dismissed. I'll take any sanction for the improper Zoom under advisement. All right.
Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
That it for us for a while? Till 1 o'clock.